Welcome to the Monday night live stream for May 16th, 2022, also known as the Hangout stream, aka Chill stream, baby. With yours truly, the man, broadcasting from behind the curtain. You know who I am. Because if you don't know by now, you can visit www.livefreeliverich.com or simply Google my name and you can find out. For those of you who already know, welcome to the show. But for those of you who don't, let me break it down real quick, real fast. Every Monday night, I show up here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and I boot up the live stream. Now, as far as YouTube is concerned, these are happy streams, okay? And some may even say sweet dreams are made of these. But who am I to disagree? Because it's you guys who supply me with things to talk about. And what I mean by that, and in return, I raise awareness for things that you guys would like to be seen. And there are several ways that you can contribute to the show in this way. You can request book shoutouts. You can, if you have projects or announcements that you would like to raise awareness for, if you have a piece of writing that you would like me to read live on the air, this could be a piece of flash fiction, poetry, or it could be an essay. And then last but not least are video requests. So if you have a YouTube channel that you would like to raise awareness for, or you have a video that you would like me to watch and gauge my reaction to, an example would be like if you're a comedian and you do stand-up comedy, something like that, you can share your link. You can either tune in live to the show and request in the chat, or you can leave a comment down below on this video and just leave a link that way. Also, another way is if I share on any of my social media posts about the live stream, that's also another opportunity for you to get involved with the show. So let me just go ahead and hop right into books, and I'll continue to explain how this works as we go. So tonight we have some book shout outs to get to. We have some projects to talk about. And then after all that, I'm going to be reading some contributions to the show. Now, when it's slow and nothing's going on, you are more than welcome to tune in. I always come in here. Like I always say, this is your show and I just play producer. So I show up here Monday night, every Monday night, and I boot up the live stream for you guys. And if it's slow and I don't have any requests, I'll come on here. You're more than welcome to come hang out with me. We could use this time for reading, or we could be working on writing, and you guys could just chit chat with me and you can become a part of the show that way, because I wanted to create this stream to really just get engaged with the community. And I think the live stream is a great platform for creating a familiarity with my peers. So let's get right into some books. This first one comes from Twitter. Go like this. First one comes from Twitter user Hydra's Wake. Hydra's Wake, full release is tomorrow. Of course, this was April 30th, so this book is now available on the market right now. Order your copy now and be among the first to read this exciting sci-fi adventure full of twists and non-stop action. Hydra's Wake. Let's check it out. So you request a book, whether it be on social media or in the comments section of this live stream. That's all I need is the title of the book and the pen name of the author. And I will look it up on the market, and I'll read your blurb or I'll read your synopsis, and I may even give you some first impressions. Go like this. Okay. All right. That's the cover on that. Let me see if I can fix this up a little bit. Does that look better, or does this look better? Let me see. No. There we go. All right. Hydra's Wake. That is by Daniel Jones. And right off the bat, let me just say one thing that I noticed about the cover. That cover definitely strikes me as having like some I'm getting some strong like Ray Harryhausen vibes from that cover. Like just looking at it, I kind of get, if I can let me make it a little bit bigger here. You can see that. Kind of definitely some Ray Harryhausen vibes there. Like I think it makes me think of like Clash of the Titans or something like that. Obviously a creature feature. It's very nice artwork. All right, let's read the blurb, shall we? When dirigible pilot Rogue Whip. When dirigible pilot Rogue Whip crashes in the deep forest province of Shell, he takes refuge in an old abandoned mining camp. However, he quickly discovers the camp is the territory of the four-headed Hydra, a rare but vicious creature that mercilessly hunts and kills its victims using its wake, an airborne toxin that causes hallucinations. However, the Hydra isn't the only monster out for Rogue's blood. The sadistic Lord Albert Richgoff has hired a mercenary to take out Rogue, confusing him with a spy by the same name. As his enemies fall under the influence of the Hydra's wake, Rogue rescues a beautiful but mute woman whom Lord Albert abused and left for dead. To rescue her and survive, the hunted now becomes the hunter. But can Rogue kill both the Hydra and Albert, or will they destroy him first? That is Hydra's Wake by Daniel Jones. All right. It's another request from Twitter. This one comes from Dr. Donna Clovis. This is a YA book called The South of Black Forgiveness. Let's check that out, see what it's all about. The South of Black Forgiveness. And you guys tune into the live stream and you're in the chat, you are very much a part of this show. So anything that I share on here, you are more than welcome to give your 2 cents, whatever you think about it, whatever it may be, from your first impressions of the blurb, what you think about the cover of the book, anything like that. Is this something? Does the blurb sell you on the book? You're more than welcome to share your opinions here. All right. All right, looks good. The South of Black Forgiveness by Dr. Donna Clovis. For Princeton's place has secrets of memories exposed through the current events and police records of a New York City story as its synchronicities emerge to fulfill this haunting tale. Remember, the darkest moment occurs when one must face alone the self. Now, when I was looking at this, when I first got the request and I was looking at this, I was thinking to myself that I thought the blurb itself is actually quite perplexing. That's all it says. It's 2 sentences. Now, I am a believer that the blurb itself, like what's written on the back of the book, doesn't actually have to give away anything as far as the plot goes of the book. I mean, really, I think that the purpose of a blurb is to really just try to sell you on the book, get you to basically want to purchase the book and, read it for yourself and discover what it's about. But, on the product page, I mean, at least you would want some sort of idea of what it's about. I mean, she said YA. I look down here, I scroll down, see if there's any kind of categorization, and it falls under literature and fiction, which is pretty broad, but literary fiction. I don't know if it's based on true event. It's a story based on true events or what. There is a quote here. We'll see what this says. But this is from Kirkus Reviews. Another story grabs headlines after a shooting at and bombing of a Harlem Pentecostal church leaves 6 parishioners dead and 5 wounded, although the number of injured would later rise to 26. Tanisha discusses the tragedy with her editor and fellow reporters, particularly the crumbled note found at the scene that says, "Please forgive me." This makes the 3rd crime in the same neighborhood with a similar note left behind. So there you go. I guess that kind of clears it up. It's like basically like a crime thriller. That is The South of Black Forgiveness. A mystery crime thriller, perhaps. That is by Dr. Donna Clovis. All right, this next one, all these, I'm pretty sure all these are coming from Twitter. I get the most interaction, the most engagement as far as social media goes on Twitter. That's why I think Twitter is probably, like, if you're getting in as an indie author, I'd say definitely I should make a video where it's like indie author marketing starter pack or something like that. But really, I think it's like it's a moot point at this juncture. Like, it's 2022. Like, if you don't have the basic social media platforms, like, you're pretty much behind the game as far as that goes. You're behind. You're not on the 8 ball as far as that goes. Like, you should have it. Like, if you're an indie author, you should have a Twitter. Doesn't necessarily mean you need to engage with everything that goes on Twitter, because I know a lot of people have bias towards Twitter because of, you know, the toxicity of it. But that stuff doesn't bother me. So I just like it because it's very user friendly. Platform is easy to navigate, and it's great for marketing because it's just quick, snappy, to the point, not huge feeds. All right, so this next one comes from TZ Krasner. He says, a princess with a difficult decision and an unmanageable power, a warrior with a mystical weapon and determined to protect what matters most, and 7 days to save the kingdom. Sword of Lions, now in paperback and ebook. Let's check that out. I'm doing too bad on time. And a little bit quicker with these transitions. All right, Sword of Lions by TZ Krasner. Clearly fantasy. All right, we start off with a quote by Maya Keeley. A marvelous epic quest that fits right in with the Arthurian myths and Old English folk tales. So King Arthur type quest. Sword of Lions. A princess facing a difficult decision. Crown Princess Janet has refused. First off, let me just say, I like the fact that she just has like a regular name, like Janet, Jan. And it's not one of these crazy like fantasy names, which, you know, I understand, like having the fantastical type, like medieval type esque names, but it just they get kind of difficult to pronounce. And I like, if you don't read a lot of fantasy like me, it could be kind of difficult to like remember like who certain characters are because of how wild their names are. But anyways, Crown Princess Janet has refused every suitor that has come to ask her hand, and not because of Malcolm of Bonaparte. And not because of Malcolm of Bonaparte. Something going on with that Malcolm character. He is a friend and nothing more. Oh, I see. She's in denial. She is the future of Havana, a woman who wields substantial power, both through position and her own magical abilities. She must choose carefully. Choose what? The future of her, choose a suitor carefully. A warrior determined to protect what matters. Malcolm will do what he must to protect the woman who has always been his closest friend Friend zoned. Even if that means lying to her about who he is and what he feels. And when her family falls under a dark curse, he is the only one she can trust to get her to the forest tower, home of the ancient wizard, Merlin. Can you use Merlin? Yeah, you could probably use Merlin. His name's probably in free domain, huh? Dangers lie around every turn in the road, and a former friend. Dangers lie around every turn in the road, and a former friend hunts them every step at the behest of a dark enemy. But the greatest danger lies ahead, a confrontation with an evil every bit as ancient and powerful as their salvation. And beyond all that, Janet must contend with something she has spent years denying, her own heart. So definitely getting the, getting kind of like the, maybe a little bit YA vibes on that. The world is in peril, but yet she's still got to, she's got to keep a boyfriend in mind. For fantasy, so it says it's an epic, but this is only 280 pages. So a short read as far as epics go. It has it categorized, Amazon has it categorized as sword and sorcery. So it is under epic fantasy as well, but it's a classic sword and sorcery type tale. It's Sword of Lions by T.Z. Krasner. All right, another Twitter request. This one comes from Queenie Yalangi. There are many stories and Queenie writes, there are many stories in the world, but only a few are heard. So I wrote a book to be the voice of all those stories. Hope you read it, review it, and recommend it to others. Thank you. All right, let's check out Queenie's story here. Check out her book. It's called Life in Hyderabad by Queenie Yalangi. Life in Hyderabad. Hyderabad. I don't know what time it is over there. Queenie in the chat. Queenie mentioned something about maybe showing up for the live stream. She's in the chat. You can say hi, Queenie. You can add in, and you can if you show up, you make a book request. You can show up. It'd be better if you show up for the live stream, so you can add you can add your 2 cents about whatever it is. Maybe you could add some fun facts or something like that about your book while I'm covering it. That would be helpful. All right, Life in Hyderabad by Queenie Yalangi. How is life? If she was in the chat, I'd ask her, how is life in Hyderabad? Suppose I could just read the book and find out, huh? I bet the weather's nice. Bet it's hot. Bet it's hot. Life in Hyderabad, a City of Tales, is a book of anecdotes. The stories of love, pain, and optimism. Every one of us has different stories in our lives, but most of them are unheard, unspoken, or ignored. So I wrote Life in Hyderabad to introduce lives of common people and their untold stories. Every character in this book has lost something or other, but they never gave up. We all are somewhere broken inside and lost in darkness, but it is our willpower and the hope of a better tomorrow which gives us strength to fight that darkness and makes our life beautiful. Life in Hyderabad is not just my book, it's the book of millions of people who live with hope. I don't know if there's millions. I mean, at 66 pages, I doubt there's millions of characters featured in this book, but definitely sounds like a true life stories type of book. It says anecdotes, so this must be like real people that she either knows. See, this is where it would be helpful if you're in the chat, you can answer these questions on during the live stream. Are these people that you know personally, or was this like a voluntary type deal where you're like, hey, I have this project and I'd like to hear your story and then I'll feature your story in my book kind of thing? So it's an anthology collection of anecdotes. So true to life stories. If it's true to life stories or based on true stories type deal. Something or other. It's Life in Hyderabad by Queenie Yalangi. All right. That was the books for this week, ladies and gentlemen. I would do about 4 authors a week. Here's the thing. I have a working queue here. That's not all the requests. I do have some other books, but I do about 4 authors a week just to make just to be consistent with the amount of time that I stream each week. I try to keep it around about an hour. And but if the queue is not extremely long right now. So if you are an indie author and you have a book on the market, or you have a book that's coming to market soon and you would like to raise awareness for, just go ahead, get in contact with me. You need to engage though. And 2 things: only request your books that you have written, you have copyright to. Do not suggest a book written by a friend or an acquaintance or a colleague or anything like that. You are more than welcome to tell them and make them aware of the live stream, but it is up to them as to whether or not engaged. Because for me, what it is when I post these streams and I'm asking for your links, that's essentially acts as you guys giving me permission to feature your work on the live stream. That's permission that makes me feel better about featuring your art on the live stream, your products on the live stream. So anything, whether it be your projects, announcements, anything, your videos, you have to engage. And that's kind of like the whole point of me starting this too, is like, I want to engage with more people within the community. So you can't just go and drop a link for somebody else and they don't even know that you did that on their behalf. I just, if it slips through, it slips through. I pretty much go by the honor system as far as the authors go. But if I notice that you're requesting a book that's written by somebody else, then I won't consider that for the live stream. But like I say, you're more than welcome to let them know, and they can interact and speak for themselves and share the link. And then I'm more than happy to add them to the queue. So if you want to get added to the show, get your book featured on the show, the sooner the better. Just give me the link or the title of the book and then pen name of the author, and I'll add you to the queue. The next segment of the live stream is projects and announcements. Now, this is something that I'm refining a little bit as I go along here. The more of these live streams that I do and I get used to doing these live streams. But if you've been tuning into the live stream the past couple weeks, you know that I've been covering one project in particular called Black Rhapsody. I'm going to get to that in just a second. We just have a quick update on that. But that is actually an Indiegogo project. And now with this segment of the live stream, what I do is I raise awareness for projects that you guys have or any announcements that you guys may have. So this live stream is not just for artists and authors, but also booktubers as well. So if you're on Booktube, and what I mentioned before is if you host special events. So for a couple examples that I gave was if you host a read along or a readathon, then pop into the live stream, get in contact with me through my social media or comment down below on one of my live streams and bring it to my attention, and I'll share your announcement during the live stream. Or you can just pop into the live stream and leave a comment in the chat live about whatever event. Just give the details of your event, and I'll just bring it. I can post it right up on the screen for everybody to see. So projects. So like if you have Indiegogos or you do Kickstarter events, those type of projects. Other type of project announcements that I would share is if you are a small press or an indie press and you have a call for submissions, we have an example of that tonight, and that's something else that I'd bring up. So let's get into the update, shall we? Just a quick update on the Black Rhapsody, and this is actually going to wrap things up for the Rhapsody. This will be the last time that I bring up this project. It's been the third week in a row we've covered this project, but it's been ongoing. I've had something new to share about it each week. So let me just get into that. If you don't recall, this is a comic book project, a manga comic book, and it's an adult manga comic book, I guess, for its violence. I don't know if there's like a nudity or anything like that, but the Twitter, I'll do a quick I'll give you a quick recap. So this was through Twitter, with Magic Gal Media. I didn't put the handle, but all the links will be shared in the description of the live stream. So this was with Magic Gal Media on Twitter. Black Rhapsody is a horror comic. It's a horror comic about musical magical girls saving the world from an evil goddess turned pop star. If you like dark stories about female goth singers saving the world through the power of rock, back the campaign. Back today. All right, so like I say, just a quick update. Just wanted to say that Black Rhapsody, thanks to you guys out there, Black Rhapsody has reached their fixed goal of $5,000, and now they are aiming for their stretch goals. They do have several stretch goals that I mentioned. If you're interested in knowing what those stretch goals are, or if you would like to back this project, there are still 21 days left on this project. And they listed all their different perks and everything that you can get depending on what dollar amount, how much you back the project for, and goes into all the details. They give you samples of the artwork and all that. So that is the Black Rhapsody. I'm glad that they got their full backing on that project. That's pretty cool, and it happened quick too. Like I said, it's been like a few weeks that I've covered that, but really they were like right there, like within the first. I think they launched on like a Friday. Like I covered it on a Monday before they even launched the project. So like pre-launch, I was talking about the project, and then it was like that following Friday they launched, and then by the next Monday, my next live stream by the next Monday, so within about 3 to 4 days time, they were already like well over like $4,500 or something like that. So it was pretty wild. All right, so now what we have here is submission calls. So this one comes from a website that is called, well, let me get the Twitter. Let me get the request. All right, this is coming from, their Twitter handle is Spoonie Press, and that's the name of the website too, spooniepress.com. It says, we're accepting art and writing on the topic of disability, chronic illness, and neurodivergence for our weekly publication, Spoonie Magazine. Details at spooniepress.com. So I saw that, and well, at first I was like, didn't really know what to make of it. So I'm gonna give it a fair shake. We'll go to the website, and then after I'm done talking about everything that's going on the website, I'll toss in my 2 cents on what I think about this. All right. So spooniepress.com. That's where you can go. And they are call for submissions. So here's just talking about submission guidelines. So the journal subs are closed, but the magazine submissions are open. So let's just go over the details a little bit. So for those of you who may not be familiar with submission calls, the reason why I wanted to start featuring submission calls on the live stream is because, bring awareness to it, is because I noticed that, like, especially like with independent authors, I talked about this before, and this is something that I'm interested in, not necessarily this specifically, but just doing some submission calls. And I want to try to do more of that this year, so I can see if I can get my work featured on some different publications and kind of get my name around a little bit more in that way, so I can kind of offer people different samples of my work and kind of compound like the idea behind it. So with indie, it's very difficult in terms of marketing. I know a lot of people struggle, myself included. It's a struggle to do marketing when you're independent. And that's why I say it requires a community. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. This live stream is a way of me doing my part to help try and raise awareness for what's going on out there in the independent scene. And let's get into this, and then I'll talk about that more. What we publish. Our magazine updates weekly, and submissions are always open. So their magazine updates weekly, and submissions are always open. And their journal publishes twice a year, and submissions are open March through May, and then again September through November. During these months, all work is simultaneously considered for both submissions. So we accept art, articles, poetry, and prose from spoonies and spoonie supporters. So you don't necessarily have to be a quote-unquote spoonie to submit to this. And I don't know what the deal is with the spoonie thing, but we're going to get into that. Well, I do know now, but I didn't before. We'll get into that. Spoonie supporters with preference to related topics. Writing over 1,000 words, and articles are considered for the magazine only. We're not looking for any specific form or perspective. We're looking for your truth. If you think it fits, send it. So this could get interesting. This is what you need to know. There's no reading fee. So you can read their publications for free once they're published. That's cool. There's no reading fee. Simultaneous submissions and reprints are okay. We are not able to pay contributors at this time, so it's just an exposure thing. However, we run dedicated social media campaigns for accepted work and our contributors. And there you go. People like to scoff at this, but indies, I think a lot of indies, they don't understand, like, everyone thinks they're going to get paid as a writer. Like, for one thing, maybe a hot take on this, I think if you're getting into writing to make money, then you're not getting into writing for the right reasons. Like, writing, like, for me, is very much a cultural based thing. It's an art form. It's definitely, like, for me, like, getting into writing is like, it's wanting to be a part of a culture, wanting to be a part of the arts and all the culture that surrounds that specific art form. And if you think that you're going to become, like, if you decide to become a writer with the intention of making money, then all I would say is don't hold your breath. Like, you should do it because you want to do it. Like, you should do it because you have something that you feel is significant to bring to the scene, something, or you may have something meaningful to say, something of value to contribute to the culture itself. Maybe a different perspective on something, maybe a different point of, like, in other words, like offering a different point of view of something that is predominant within the underground scene, or have an opposing view of something that's predominant within the mainstream that you disagree with. And that's what it is for me. And these, like, with these indie publishers, like, they're doing a service, really. Like, if you can find these indie publishers that, one, accept work, they make it simple. For one, they make it simple for you, and so far so good with this indie publisher. They don't have some convoluted system of accepting submissions. Well, let me get into how they submit, how to submit to them. So they have let's see. So contributors retain all rights. Our goal is to get your work in front of as many eyes as possible. So this is like the compounding interest that I'm talking about. So if you want to a way to market your work, a lot of these places, like if you have a cover letter, you'll send them a lot of these. They'll ask for like a cover letter, or you can just you can add in when you email them an author bio or something like that, and that's going to link to work that your other work, like it could be your website, your Amazon page, what have you, that is linked to work that you have on the market that people can buy. So this is like a way for you to, write something that people out there can get a little sample of, that you yourself don't even have to market. These people are taking care of the marketing for you. And it's just like a compounding interest thing, where it's like every time you submit an article or a piece of writing to an indie publisher like this, and they handle all the back end stuff, and all the, they do the social media work. As far as that goes, that's one less post from your own blog that you upload and you put on. You got to shop around on social media and market and all that, and other people are doing it for you. I know I'm talking as if this is very it's very dumbed down, but it's just like I'm on social media quite a bit, and I'm very much involved in the indie scene, and I see a trend of a lot of people who kind of like turn their nose up quite a bit, like indies too. It's the most mind-blowing thing ever. It's like, like people get like maybe like a couple thousand, few thousand in sales, and they think, that means they're going somewhere. And it's like, no, it doesn't end. Like, it's not like, you still gotta like keep putting in the footwork, and this is why it's like, it has to be something that you're passionate about. But this is why this is people like this. It's a service, because the indie scene is very much a community-based thing. If you want to make money writing, then I'd say don't be indie. Don't be self-published. Try to get with one of the big five. You start sending out start querying for, the big five publishers, and, get 1,000 rejections. And then maybe one day they might pick up a novel of yours, and then you can make a little bit of money. But guess what? You're still going to, from what the scene it looks like right now, they're already starting to fall apart at the seams, the big five, and they still expect you're still expected to have a following. You're still expected to basically do a lot of your own marketing. It's becoming a joke at this point, but allegedly you can make money that way. I don't know. I remain unconvinced, but again, I haven't gotten into writing for the sole purpose of making money. That's not why I became a writer. There's so many other easier ways to make money than becoming a writer. So how to submit? Submit to one category at a time. You can send more material as soon as you hear back. Yes, even if we just published you. So that's great. Email work as attachments to spooneypress@gmail.com. Very simple. With your name and category in the subject line. Supply a third-person 100-word max. Include hyperlinks of an author bio. There you go. You can link to your work that people can pay for, to your author bio in the body of the email. Headshots or personal graphics are optional and encouraged. Category-specific guidelines are below. We aim to respond to submissions within 1 month, though you'll typically hear back within a week. Please reach out if more than a month has passed. We are a team of 1 woman and 2 cats. And the cats are frighteningly bad at time management, no doubt. We offer optional, expedited, and developmental feedback per submission via Ko-Fi and on a subscription basis via Patreon. So I give you some ideas about that. So we get into art. You can get into more details if you want more details, but it looks like they'll accept the art. Could be articles, could be poetry or prose. Send up to 4 pieces or 10,000 words, whichever comes first. Prose should be double space, legible 12 point. 1,000 words are considered for the magazine only, but the weekly, Note, works over 1,000 words are considered for the magazine only. It could be creative nonfiction, personal essays, and all other categories are fine. So if you want more details, you go to spooniepress.com. I think I've said everything I need to say about as far as independent publishers go. But that's something that I want to focus on, and that's what I was talking about in my latest video. We'll get into videos a little bit later, but my latest video, I made an Authortube tag, and that's on the main page of my channel if you want to check that out, where I was talking about I want to practice writing more flash fiction, because flash fiction is right around like that 1,000 word, 1,500 word mark. It could be as short as 250, 500 words. But I would probably aim for, at least 500 words. But yeah, if a lot of them call for flash fiction, so that's why I want to practice more of that, so I could get more submissions. And like I say, they're doing the marketing for you, so it's like, who cares if you get paid? And even and a lot of people cause a stink about it too, and it's like, why are you causing a stink about it? Like, you're causing a stink over what? A piece of flash fiction, what are they going to pay you? Like $25 max? Like on the higher end, you're getting paid like $25 for the entry. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like the marketing itself is worth the price of admission as far as your time goes. You know what I mean? What's 1,000 to 1,500 words? A lot of people can write that in like one session. I don't know. I just think that people who scoff at like free publicity, essentially free publicity, is they're kind of full of themselves in that way. But as far as the spoonie thing goes, I saw that and I'm like, what is this? I'm like, what the hell is a spoonie? Because at first I didn't know what to make of it. And this is like just a quick little intermission here. I just wanted to talk about that. Like, at first I'm like, because sometimes you see things on social media and you think to yourself, like, is this someone like trying to pull a fast one? Like, is this supposed to be like a joke or something like that? Because it seemed legit. You guys saw it for yourself, the website, so it seemed legit. And I'm like, what? But the whole spoonie thing, like calling people a spoonie, like I thought that was like some sort of like, at first I thought it was like some sort of derogatory term of some sort. And that's just it. Like, things, I didn't know what to make of it at first. I had to look it up, because like things nowadays have become so, quote, unironic that it's like you don't know what is or isn't a joke anymore. Like, the line is blurred. And by the way, I would suggest stop using, like, if you want to be considered like an intellectual of any sort or of any kind, like, I wouldn't suggest using the term unironically, because it just sounds, it unironically makes you sound retarded. In my opinion. I mean, I hope I didn't just cut off my nose to spite my face, but it does. I mean, you just say you, when you do something unironically, just say you're doing it intentionally. Say you're doing it on purpose. You're being genuine. There's so many other words in the English dictionary that actually exist as real words than saying you're doing something unironically. Doesn't even make any sense. Anyways, so I looked up the spoonie thing, and this is freaking gold. And I tell you guys what, don't be surprised now. Now that I looked up this, I got an infographic I'm going to bring up here. And don't be surprised if you guys go onto my network tab on my website and you click on my featured media, and you're going to see I'm going to have a piece on there featured at spooniepress.com, because after I saw this infographic, oh man, the wheels are already turning. Let me tell you, this is freaking gold. Let me show you. This is friggin' great. So spoonie is a term to talk about, is a term that is to describe people that have an invisible illness of some sort. Okay, an invisible illness. So this could be like, you know, something like depression, or, you know, something that's not like you can just tell just by looking at them that they're sick or something. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to I'll make it bigger. That's what we got. All right. So this is based on the spoon theory, and this is what the infographic says. I'll just leave it like that. So the spoon theory is a creative way to explain to healthy friends and family what it's like living with a chronic illness. This term, DISE, DYSAUTONOMIA, dysautonomia, like autonomy, breaking down the word autonomy, but autonomia, dysautonomia. I'm going to call it from here on out, I'm going to refer to it as dysautonomia. Patients often have limited energy, represented by spoons. Doing too much in one day can leave you short on spoons the next day. So you only got so many spoons to spend in one day before you start taking away from the spoons you have to spend on the next day. Okay? You with me so far? Healthy people out there? If you only had 12 spoons per day, how would you use them? Take away 1 spoon if you didn't sleep well last night. Forgot to take your meds or skipped a meal? Take away 4 spoons if you have a cold. Okay, so take away 1 spoon if you didn't sleep well, if you forgot to take your meds or skipped a meal. But take away 4 spoons if you have a cold. A friggin' cold? Oh my God. And there's some examples of some other things. So like, just to put things into perspective, there's some examples of what falls under the category of a 4-spoon activity. So just to put into perspective of like what the equivalent of a cold, the impact of a cold can have on your daily routines. Okay. So here's some 1-spoon activities. These require 1 spoonful of energy for you to complete. So some examples are getting out of bed, getting dressed, taking pills, watch TV. Simple enough. And then 2 spoons, we got bathing, styling your hair, surfing the internet, reading and studying. Okay. Then we move on to the more advanced, or the more, not advanced, but the more taxing activities. You got 3-spoon activities, which is make and eat a meal, make plans and socialize. I would argue that socializing requires more than 3 spoonfuls of energy, but I digress. Some light housework, and then drive somewhere. Now 4 spoons, 4 spoonfuls of energy. This is where the infographic ends, okay? But I'm sure you see how the wheels are starting to turn here, how you could probably come up with your own piece of fiction based on this infographic alone. Some 4-spoon activities include go to work/school, go shopping, go to the doctor, or exercise. Now I'm thinking to myself, Oh, this is gold. So you look at 4 spoon activities. You go, whoa, 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 whoa. Work, school, exercise, excuse me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but listen, I don't know if you know this, but I have dysautonomia, okay? And I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole work thing, the whole school thing, and that thing you call exercise, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure those are 4 spoon activities, okay? And I don't know who you think you're talking to, but you know, I'm kind of a 2 spoon kind of dude. You know what I mean? I'm a 2 spoon kind of dude. You know, if it requires any more than 2 scoops, it's a no-go for me. Okay? It's a no can do, pal. I got 2 sugars in my cup, and then once it's drunk, that's it after that. And then I got to go take a nap. And as a matter of fact, and here's the thing, well, I mean, I'm a 2 spoon type of dude. You know what I mean? Why do you think I became a writer? First off, I didn't become a writer so I could be spending 4 spoons every time I turn around with this work and school and exercise and going to the doctors and all that type of stuff. You know, that's for you. That's for you healthy people. Okay, listen, I suffer from the dysautomonopias. Okay, it's an invisible disease. You know, but trust me, on the inside, I can feel it. Okay, it may not look like I'm sick, but okay. And here's the thing. And you could I could see how this could turn into insults too. Can you imagine insulting someone? You have dysautomonopia and you can insult people and probably get away with it too. You'd be like, sir, listen, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm getting tired just laying eyes on you. Okay? You're the type of person that takes 5 spoons just to look at. Damn. Using up all my spoons. Oh my God. The things these pseudo intellectuals come up with nowadays. I tell you, this right here, this is a product. You know what this is? This is a product of too many psychology major students, too much free time, and too much damn identitarian politics. That's what this infographic is a product of. Okay. And you know what else? The corporatism too. I look at this infographic right here, and you know what I see? This is a PowerPoint slide you'd see during a general meeting at a corporate job hosted by the HR department, not only to justify their existence so the company can continue to collect grants from Uncle Sam, but to educate the employees as to why Mary Sue gets paid just as much as Bill, even though everyone who works there knows damn well Bill's doing all the real work. Meanwhile, Mary Sue's in the back room flirting with management, but nobody gives her shit because she's the company eye candy. But hey, here's the thing. Don't get disgruntled. Don't get discouraged just yet, because maybe this is a blessing in disguise, you guys. Think about it. Okay? Think about it. Think of the scenarios, okay, that you could come up with this spoon theory method. You know, look. So, for instance, you say, "Oh, okay. Let me think of some scenarios." You say, "All right, you're an employee. Okay, you're an employee at a franchise burger and fries joint. Welcome to Burger and Fries franchise. How may I take your order? Please bear in mind I suffer from a form of dysautomonopia. So, and I'm on my last spoon. I'm on my last F. So tread lightly." If they call them Fs, I mean, clearly the spoon thing is just for like to cover up for Fs, because that would be funny if you could write a story where the characters only have so many Fs to give per day. That'd be great. Welcome to Burger and Fries franchise. How may I take your order? Keep in mind, I suffer from a form of dysautonomia, and I'm down to my last F for the day. So tread lightly. How may I help you? And then they say, is the ice cream machine working? You son of a... All right, I'm punching out. But you just started your shift a half hour ago. Hey, I'm sorry. Did you forget that I suffer from a form of dysautonomia? You don't expect me to overexert myself now, do you? Because that sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Spoonie. Oh, that's such a kick out of that. That is beautiful. That is gold. I tell you what, you're going to see a piece of my work featured on Spoonie Press. There's so much you could do with that. All right. So now we're moving in on an hour. I got two pieces. I got two pieces I was going to get into. I'll start one of them and see how far, see how long it takes. And then maybe I'll get into the second one. If not, we'll save it for next week. Now, this is the segment where I get into reading some work submitted by you guys, some links to your work that you would like me to read on the live stream. If you have something that you would like me to read on the live stream, it could be, like I said before, a piece of flash fiction. It could be poetry. It could be an essay that you've written, or it could be an article. But if it's an article, it's open to discretion, my discretion, because if it's got to make sense for the show. If it's creative, if it falls within the creative sphere, could be like a how-to or something like that. It's based on writing or art of some sort. Then I may feature it on the show. But other than that, if it's a piece of fiction, I'll read it on the show. If it's poetry, I'll put it on the show. If it's a thought-provoking essay, I'll probably feature it on the show. Here we go. So this first one, I was going to get to last week and ran out of time. So first thing we got, this comes from Twitter user by the name of it's Y Stokes. But on her Twitter handle, I believe it's Y Books. It's hard to see, so small, but I'll put it in the link will be in the description. And this one's called A Diva's Journey Off Grid. So living off the grid is not for the faint of heart, especially because today's society doesn't see it as normal. I took the plunge and don't regret a second of it. So this is kind of like this is like a kind of an autobiographical type piece of her sharing her journey living off grid, maybe on the road. It looks very small. It looks very cramped. You can already tell that would get old for me quick. But let's check out A Diva's Journey Off Grid by Y Stokes. And this one is brought to us by this is Kindle Vella. I haven't gotten into Kindle Vella. To be honest, I'm not really interested in doing Kindle Vella, but that's for reasons I'll go into. I'll go into after this. Let's get into her story first here and see how much time we have left. All right. Episode 1, The Spark. If someone would have told me I'd be living off the grid in 2021, I would have told them they were crazy. But this city girl did indeed go off the grid. It all started back in 2008. It's when the housing market crashed along with the economy. At the time, I owned an IT firm. Just 4 years prior, I'd moved from the hustle and bustle of Philadelphia's city life to a suburban area in Delaware. Unbeknownst to me, my off-grid journey had begun. As the housing market got worse, the foreclosure signs in my neighborhood grew. A lot of people believe self-employment means job security, but that's not always the case. I didn't receive a paycheck every Friday. I don't think many people think self-employment is job security at all, which is probably why a lot of people apply to nine to fives, but that's neither here nor there. In fact, working in the IT industry was more like feast or famine. Luckily, I was an avid saver. Smart. But the economy got worse. By the time 2009 rolled in, longtime customers were going out of business, meaning my income was being affected due to no fault of my own. Those foreclosure signs took on a new meaning, and now I was scared. There's nothing worse than backing a cat up against a wall. However, I had some options. There was equity in my house I own, plus I had a nice nest egg. I had my finger on the ready, waiting to pull the trigger, and then Mother Nature stepped in. October 2012 pushed me one step closer to the life I live now. Hurricane Sandy hit the Northeast with no grace in sight. Living through the hurricane was one thing, but the aftermath was another. This girl couldn't catch a break, huh? During Sandy, residents were told to report to shelters. That's sketch, but whatever. During Sandy, residents were told to report to shelters. My shelter was the local high school gym. I had watched horror stories of Katrina down in Louisiana. There was no way in hell I was going to the gym to fight for a bed. Instead, I followed the CDC guidelines and spent the night in my bathroom on the floor. I heard buildings being ripped apart. It was terrifying, to say the least. When the storm cleared, the real saga began. Gas stations were closed, supermarkets' shelves were bare, roads were blocked, and panic was rife. The cleanup took a while, but things finally returned to normal. However, my anxiety took on a life of its own, no doubt. I needed a plan B. Hell, a plan C and D too. First things first, I needed a new financial plan. I quickly totaled up my remaining mortgage. I thought paying off my mortgage would bring me some ease. Not a financial advisor, but that would have been a horrible mistake. I thought paying off my mortgage would bring me some ease, since my income was still dropping at an alarming rate. I had friends telling me not to. Yeah, fuck them. But I was determined. I managed to land a contract that was just enough to pay the mortgage off and leave a small nest egg behind. Poor girl. I remember walking. Bank of America doesn't need your money like that. I'll tell you that right now. But whatever. I remember walking into Bank of America with a check totaling my remaining mortgage like it was yesterday. My hands were shaking, but I was proud of myself. I walked out of the bank feeling like $1 million, but horrified. My nest egg was reduced to chicken scratch. I kept telling myself, there will be no foreclosure sign in your yard, and no medal, no plaque, no award either. Although I didn't lose any money, it felt as if I did, but I moved on to the next step of my plan. Sandy really did a doozy on my psyche. We knew a week prior the hurricane was coming, but I had lived through storms before and didn't think much of it. I vowed that would never happen again. I learned all the CDC recommendations, like how much water to have on hand and food storage. I also watched countless videos on how to be prepared for the apocalypse. Zombie preps on YouTubes. And in all seriousness, though, there are a lot of great prepper channels on YouTube, and that's becoming more and more of a reality, almost a necessity at this point, to have some basic survival skills, some basic survival sense about you, and know a few tips and tricks of how to survive. Slowly, my feed started showing how to live off grid and mobile life videos. I decided a travel trailer was the best solution for me. I could use it to flee to a safe area the next time a storm was predicted to hit. Plus, I could store water, food, and clothes. It would become my emergency evacuation plan. I like the setup here. It's a short, sweet little episode that you've written here. Or I guess they call them episodes. It'd be like a chapter if it was a book, but it's it's a short, sweet, plenty of information as far as a little bit of backstory. I liked that. That was intriguing to me. And a little bit informative too, by talking about how you got this information, or I should say where you derived your ideas from, so people can kind of be like, oh wow, okay, I'll look up maybe I look up these videos and search for myself, Interesting. And it sets up, it's a nice intro to like how this got started. Follow the premise of this chapter here, this episode. It's a nice setup. It actually does make me it does make me want to go and check out the next episode, which maybe I'll put it up. Maybe if you request the next, I'll tell you what, if you request, you see this live stream, Y Stokes. I don't know your real name, but there's your handle. You just go by Y Stokes. So if you see this on the live stream, or you see this video posted on social media, then you're more than welcome to request that I read the next episode. I'd be happy to do that. Sounds interesting so far. Sounds compelling. And if you guys want to check it out for yourself, you can. If you want to see how this story continues, I'm going to be leaving the link down in the description, like I say. That wasn't as long as I thought, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on. I'll get some more, the next piece of reading done, so we can we don't have to carry it over to next week. All right, this next one is from Twitter, another Twitter. This one's from Statistical 1 is his handle, his Twitter handle. He says, hi, I write #poetry at statistical.com/poetry, and readers can anonymously vote thumbs up or thumbs down on each poem. Thanks. And then he flexes. Cool flex, bro. Interesting flex. I write poetry. It says sleeveless man flexing. All right. Here's the website, statistical.com/poetry/poetry.html. Oh yeah, this one. I have a few things to say about the website. If you see it on full, on smaller screen, it doesn't look as bad, but in full screen, it's like just a bunch of blocks. I'll show it. All right, so when I just put it like this, it's not horrible. It looks, you know, it's organized like that. But when I spread it out like this, you can see how it has like these blocks. Just blocks. So I was going to say, like, basically the website itself, like, it look like it's not pretty. Your web design is not, for this website, is not. And I'm a minimalist when it comes to web design myself. I don't like you know, I don't like websites that have a whole shit ton of bells and whistles. And let me just say some positives about your website, though. Some positives about your website. You don't have any of those stupid pop-ups. Okay, seriously, guys, like, it's 2022. For one thing, email lists are not as hot as they used to be. And in fact, in terms of gimmicks, or if you're going to have some sort of like a sign up gimmick, like sign up to my email list and get a free ebook, one of those type things, those gimmicks aren't even like as interesting as they used to be, like maybe in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s. But if year's 2022, you're still using pop-ups on your website, it's just, I'm usually right out of there, quick, fast, in a hurry, unless I'm on the website for something specific, because it's annoying as hell and it's stupid. The web design on this is very lackluster. To be honest, it looks like, you know, the way that this is designed, it looks like it was designed by an AI. But at least it's not like completely plastered with stupid AdSense too, because AdSense is pointless as well. What are you getting paid, like 2 cents per click or something like that? Come on. You know, he's got one little AdSense. That's not bad. And then you got, I forget what those are called. Keyword clouds, a keyword cloud or something like that. You have some, and then you have some links to some donations and donation sites and stuff like that. And then you got your, and then you have your footer. Your footer down here, again, very lackluster, nothing fancy. I'm just saying this because it's a poetry site. So like, but it's called Statistical. So obviously it's not just about poetry, but it's like, maybe you had a website that revolved around statistics, but then you like started getting into poetry. So you decided to like double up on it, which I would have almost just started a whole new like website name, but maybe it was a try to save on cost type of deal. You didn't want to like buy a new domain name. But I would say the web design, at least you could like, you could pep up your, you could, you know, add a little web design in here, make it look a little bit more artsy, you know what I mean? Because like I say, it looks like it was created by an AI of some sort. Anyways, let's get into some poetry. So he's got them all listed out here. It's like some different types. So poetry articles, poetry books, but then he's got the names of specific types of poetry, which I found interesting. So it does kind of fall under that umbrella of statistics, because he's like keeping stats of like, he's got currently, select from a category below, he's got 2,710 poems, 13,211 lines of poetry. That's a lot. Well, it sounds like a lot. I don't know a lot about poetry, to be honest with you. But as you can see, I clicked on some already. He's got anagrams. He's got some what's called bootstrap poetry, some free verse, experimental, concrete. He's got some haikus in there, islands, some limericks, mono stitch. A lot of these things I've never even heard of before. Oh, he's got some odes in there, snowball, triolet. Start with some haikus, huh? Haikus. Oh, it did pop up. Very nice. So he has them by date. So they're not titled. It's just haiku 533. You see what I'm saying? Like it just seems, it kind of comes off as like an AI thing. Haiku number 533, 5/11/22. And now it's titled Oops. Clicked on damn ad. I gotta make the screen bigger. Okay, haiku number 333. Let's do it. There we go. Just had to make it a little bit bigger. A midnight spring rain. Moss growing on the shed roof. Time slows down for once. Haikus are boring. All right, I think there was something. Let me get into that bootstrap. What was that bootstrap one about? That one interested me, I think. Some previous ones, bootstrap 1 through 50. No. There was one that I already clicked on. There's a couple bootstraps I already clicked on. Okay, bootstrap 117. At the very end of the driveway, the stretching golden sun, warming itself in winter, with every sunrise, in never-ending time, it always seems to fit. So that's why I'm not a big poetry guy. It just seems like word salad to me. You know what I mean? Just slapping together a bunch of words that vaguely, like when I think of poetry, I think of like song lyrics or something like that. Like I listen to metal, and that some metal, like some lyrics to like metal songs, like I would consider that like poetry. Here's one. Bootstrap 110. My ink voice in the shape of time on the skin, a hopeful flower peeking out of the dirt. In the forest of quiet, grape blue drips. Stopping is a mistake. See, my ink voice in the shape of time on the skin. I think that would be like referring to like a tattoo of some sort, right? Hopeful flower peeking out of the dirt. That's the subject. In the forest of quiet is the scene. Grape blue drips. Like water, rain. But there was something else. Hold on, let me see what else I had. Free verse. Let me check the free verse. Free verse 630. Like ungathered germs in the territory within, moving in amputated tones, God will hollow you, fish bones of us all. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Put that in a metal song and kick it. Like ungathered germs. Like ungathered germs. In the territory within. Like that, see, now it's like thinking like maggots and bacteria just like eating away at like rotting flesh. God will hollow you, fish bones of us all. See, that's badass. What else we got? Free verse 592. A shadowy smear on the sundial. Warm astronomy, the only worthy celebrity. Sensuous kilograms of instrumentation. We transcend as we assess and do a little science. We do a little science. I should have been rating them. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Oh, well. All right, let's check out a few more here. Anagram. I click on anagram 6. Negativism era, gamiest ravine in meat gravies. Meet a sin giver. Imagine, starve. Meat or meat? Like meat? Meat is in meat gravies. Meet a sin giver. Imagine, starve. Giver, animates, navigates, mire, germinates via mintier agaves, eager, vitamins, saving meteor. See how this is just word salad to me. Anagrams. I forget what anagrams are. Is that like you read it forwards, you read it backwards type of deal? It's supposed to do something. I forget. Let's do some limericks. I do limerick 6. I felt like I was going to explode, so I pulled over to the side of the road. But when I got to this section, I had quite the suggestion that this might be better as an ode. Huh. Limerick 5. Justin picked up his pen because he was at it again. He drafted a limerick, but decided to bin it to try and be more humane. Human? Again. Justin picked up his pen because he was at it again. He drafted a limerick, but decided to bin it to try and be more humane. I would have binned this one, to be honest with you. I mean, you got a lot of poems on here, but if it's like digging through the rubble for something, There was once a water planet that the humans took for granted. For cash, they ran amok and effed everything up, and no aliens could understand it. So obviously, a little environmentalism there. And the cosmos thing. The kid did homework at the desk and truly tried his best. He gave it his all and did something small, still better than Congress. That one's all right. Still better than Congress. Once there was a man who had a great plan. He began to work, but soon lost his shirt. So he started over again. The Tale of the Starving Artist. All right. Well, thanks for that is some samples of poetry. You can go check them out. He's got a lot. You want to dig through there and check them out. You can leave him some thumbs up or thumbs down what you think about his poetry over at statisticool.com/poetry/poetry.html. So what I was going to say before about the Kindle Vella thing is why I'm not really interested in the Kindle Vella. I don't know if you guys saw that. I could bring it up one more time. You see that? You see that right there? It says free tokens, or just where it says tokens actually. And then there's these faves coins. I don't know what these are. I'd have to look into all this, but see, I feel like this is a friggin' gimmick, man. This is an Amazon gimmick. This is Amazon. They're pushing this new Kindle Vella thing. They're trying to, get you to migrate, get all the storytellers to kind of migrate over to this Kindle Vella thing. And it's just like it's a gimmick. And I'm not, right now I'm skeptical. I'm not buying into it is what I'm saying, because first off, first red flag right out the gates, tokens. What's the deal with the tokens? Pay me in currency. Okay. Fuck a token. Pay me in money, pay me in currency. I'm putting my stuff. What's the difference? I publish short stories. You could probably publish flash fiction pieces individually. I forget if there's a limit on how the length that you can publish on Kindle Direct. I don't know. I always do at least I do upwards right around 10,000 words at the least for everything that I publish on Kindle Direct. So as far as my short stories go, but I mean, those aren't extremely long, and I sell them, each short story individually. So they're like marketed as 45-minute to hour-long reads. And that's how I market my stories. They're like just short little 45-minute, hour-long reads that you can buy individually. And that's the thing, is like with the Kindle Vella thing, they're getting paid in tokens. There's two things I want to say about that. The token thing is stupid because, for one, like if you know anything about finance, it's like, okay, well, what's the value of a damn token? Okay. And for one thing, what's the value of a token today could be completely different of what's the value of a token tomorrow, type of deal. So it's like you don't know, how much what you're getting paid or whatever, like whatever the details are. I'd have to actually look into it. I'll be honest with you, I haven't read all the details of Kindle Vella. All I see is tokens, and then red flags automatically pop up. Just pay me in currency. What's the problem with paying me in currency? And another thing is, like, even with Kindle Direct, like they do, where you do get paid in currency, but you got like if you sell your product worldwide, you make your work available worldwide, then you have all these different links for all these different Amazon websites based on what region in the world your book is being sold. And I'm just like, that's so annoying. Like, it's so unnecessary. I post one link. Give me one universal link to, like, Amazon should be able to figure their shit out on the front end of the website. Like, all that region shit should be able to be taken care of on the back end of the website. Make it very user-friendly, user-easy. If the book's not available in a particular region, then say, okay, the website code just takes care of that on the back end, and then boom, like, I'm on the US Amazon. My location is in the US. That's embedded in my Amazon account. I'm located in the US. Okay, so if I go to if I try to click on a particular product that doesn't ship to my region, then it would just say product not available in your region. That's it. And then it would just redirect you back to the Kindle shop. Like, I shouldn't have to like switch. I shouldn't like be able to click. In other words, I shouldn't be able to click on a UK link and then suddenly I'm shopping in the UK region, and then I gotta like switch it back to the US, then re-look up the product, when I should just be able to have one universal link that everybody can click. And then on the back end, I say, okay, my book is available all over the world. Doesn't matter the region. And then Amazon says, okay, or it's only available in these specific regions, but whatever. And then Amazon spits out a universal link that you can share to your book. And then you can share that link on your website, social media, wherever. And no matter who sees it and where they are in the world, if they click on that link and they're logged into their account on Amazon, Amazon website will just automatically figure out on the back end whether or not that person can buy that book, based on what region their account is linked to. I just feel like it's something that's just so fundamentally simple that, like, why does Amazon have to make it so convoluted? That's just my personal gripe. Anyways, you guys tell me what you think. What do you think? Do you use Kindle Vella? Is that something that you guys are into? Are you interested in using Kindle Vella, or have you published on Kindle Vella? Do you know the details about payouts and earning tokens and what that's all about? Let me know in the comments section below. And I'll see you guys. I'll respond to your comments. If you got something that you'd like. Now, videos, before I end, this would be the segment where I would get into videos. Well, I would have already gotten into them by now, but videos, if you have a video request that you would like me to watch during the live stream. Some examples, like I said before, with comedy, it could be a tag video. I recently posted a tag video for authors, for indie authors, or just, for indie authors. Go to my channel. On my main page is called Super Duper Author Tuber Tag Video. check out that tag video. I got all the questions. It's all set up nice and neat and clean for you guys to easily see all the questions in the video that I answered, and in the description of the video, I list all the questions that you can just cut and paste so you can add it, all the information for you to add to your own video. You can make your tag. You can do that tag for yourself and just kind of cut and paste some of the description into your video, and answer the questions for yourself. And that will be kind of like it's a kind of like a introductory type tag for authors in Authortube. And if you do that and you tag me in your video, I'll feature your video on one of these live streams and give your channel a shout out that way. And also, if you do storytelling and you run a podcast show from your YouTube channel, that's another way that you can get featured on the live stream. So in other words, if you want me to feature the first episode of an ongoing series that you feature on your storytelling channel, so it could, whatever it is, I would be willing to do that, give or take, depending on the amount of time the episode is. I would say maybe a maximum of like 20 minutes to a half hour. None of these like hour-long, 45-minute episodes. I would say even half hour is a bit on the long end. But if you do like these little 20-minute like flash fiction type episodic, podcasts, storytelling podcasts on your channel, I'd be willing to feature one of those on the live stream. If you do poetry readings on your channel, I'll do one of those videos on the live stream. Or if you do essays or like oratorical, philosophical type speech videos or presentations, I might do something like that. If it's like metaphysical, philosophical, or spiritual in nature, to stimulate thought and spark some imagination. But other than that, I'll be in contact with you guys throughout the week. I'm going to chop this video up, post the highlights around social media, see if I can't get everybody that I featured on this live stream a little extra eyeballs on their work. Like I said before, it takes a community to raise awareness for these projects in the indie scene, and this is me doing my part. So I'll see you guys next week, and I'd like to see more people get involved during the live. Show up during the live stream. I'll be here next Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your night. What have you. I'll be here next week.